Hello YouTube, check out my streaming softwares. Don't actually. This is actually what you want to check out. Again, because of streaming setup, I need to go back and forth. So I apologize if I'm slow in chat. It's because I'm going from coding to look at chat to, yeah. So, we're going to do some more coding today on my GitHub pages, github.io website that we worked on before. This super bright baby's first website looking motherfucker right here. I think it occurred to me the reason I made it so bright. It's probably one, because I'm dumb, and two, because at work everything I do is like rhythm and blues. So I think I wanted something a little brighter, which is what I got. So we're going to work on this. Previously, we had come up with some rules for what was going to be a story campaign. I was going to run out here in Hawaii, but unfortunately, COVID is off the fucking charts, so that's not going to happen. But I put those up there in case anyone wants to play with them. So we're going to need to make a new section here that we're going to put a random event generator in. So I've got this awesome guy here, and in the back of the solo play section, for every I'll find it. For every scenario, there is a random events generator, one of these guys right there, right? It's a D20 table. We're going to code this so you don't need to roll on it anymore, and so you can customize it yourself. I would just digitize the one that's in here so you could just automatically do it with rolling, but that kind of seems like a dick move. Joseph McCullough does a really good job on these games, and Stargrave was a ton of fun last weekend. So I don't just want to digitize within the book. That seems like what an asshole does. So I don't want to be that guy. But I want to use the same kind of logic here to make my own random event table. One that you can modify. Alright? So, ideally, when you click on future, I guess it would take you to a spot that would have it. We'll figure that out. Let's actually work on the table first, because that's kind of the more interesting thing than just like, you can change layout with a button. So we're going to work on the table. We're just going to chunk it under Varenstone right there. For right now. Anyway. Alright. Let's see what we got. Okay. We are good. So let's go look at our code and try to remember where we were. It's been 2 weeks since we've touched this. So, we've got our fantasy button, we've got our future button, super simple stuff here. These don't even have IDs on them, so they're not even bar, content. All right, we're just going to pop open our console. All right, twist body is our friend with the whoop, 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 that guy right there. And then twist card is the guy with the content inside of it. All right, so that's what we want to copy, and everything inside of it's going to be unique. So, split wrapper, let's see where that goes. That's right there, and then that is there. Okay, so you want to copy split wrapper. We don't want to. Alright, so we're going to highlight it, and it's going to show up down here, and then we're going to copy and paste that mofo, just for now, just below. I'll put it above there instead for now. Alright, there we go. And now we're going to say, alright, that's the end tag, that's our top tag. Just like last time, we've got our split body here. ID for this is going to be Necrograve. And we've got our twist card, and we're going to call this Necrograve. Chicken is having a fucking shit fit outside, and then we're gonna look at what do we need. Alright, we need that block of narrative, and then everything under that is gone. Alright, twist rules. Twist concept. Do we want the concept? Oh my god. Chicken. Chill the fuck out. Alright. Boop. And then we'll get rid of the stuff inside twist rule. Like that. And then we're going to get rid of this. This is just going to be the word boop for now. And I'll write some stuff in there later. We're going to save that, and we're going to go look at it. Since this is running in our local window, any changes we make here, don't have to wait for them to go through the pipeline. This is just being rendered locally. Ooh. Hello! Okay, so we have a box. We've got a box for a name, and we've got a box for different pieces of verbiage, like here and here. And we have a space here in between the two that we're going to put our function into. So, let's go ahead and make our function. So first off, we need to draw something up with what we want it to look like. We're just going to use paint because it's really quick and easy. Alright, so, okay, so if we have a box, say like that, we have our big title here. We got a bunch of really little verbiage here, like that. Right, and then we're gonna have a bunch of little verbiage down here, like that. Now, ideally, I want to have two headers, like this. And these are going to basically be little boxes. And inside these boxes is going to be options. So one of these is going to be hard. And one of these is going to be easy or normal. Okay? So inside each one of these, there's going to be a checkbox and then a name next to it. And you're going to check it to make sure that you want that enemy in your random table. So for example, if you're playing against Tyranids, there's going to be options in here for Tyranids. If you're playing against Death Guard, there's going to be options in here for Death Guard. Or if you're playing against, like, whatever, right? So there's going to be different options in here, so you can customize this random behavior table to whatever you're playing. Right? I don't want to like check something and then be like, oh, I need to put I don't know, a Storm Fiend on the table. It's like, I'm fighting Space Marines. What the fuck, right? I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to have to make one of these also a different table for each enemy. Right, I want one generic table that I can customize. All right, so these are going to be user customizations here, and then underneath of that, we're going to have we're going to have a space for an action, right? It's going to have a little title, and it's going to tell you what they're going to do. And then we're going to have a big generate button just right in the middle. All right, and that should be good enough for super simple what this is going to do. Okay, so this is, let's say, 1, 2, 3 boxes. So let's go put those boxes in. And we're just going to be like div class equals blank blank, div class equals blank blank, and div. Okay, so let's see, that's, oh god, I can't count for shit. That's 2 boxes. All right, there we go. Now if only I could spell, we'd be good, right? I got counting down. Now I need to learn spelling. All right, so we've got 3 boxes there. These are going to be these 3 boxes here. So we're going to call these, let's see, NG, So the problem with calling it things like this is this phrase is used inline and angular, but it's also for necrograve, so we'll do it. It's fine. And then will be ng options, and then we have ng actions, and then we have ng button. All right, there we go. And inside here we're gonna have a button. So let's go ahead and code that in. It's gonna get a custom class as well, and it's gonna be ng butt. All right, just like that. Boop. And it's gonna say generate. What is the verbiage that Joseph McCullough uses on his tables? Let's see. I just knocked my roller on the floor. It's what that bang was. Encounter table. All right, so it's gonna say generate encounter, like that. All right, so that's what we got there. If we go back to this really wonderful drawing here, this here is going to have two sections. It's going to have a title, and it's going to have an action that shows the action. So let's go ahead and put those boxes in. Let's see. Div class equals ng act title. We'll do that guy as well. All right, and then div class equals ng action, like that. Okay. And then inside this, by default, we're going to just put a couple dashes because it'll look neat. And then this one's going to be encounter. Oh, actions is wrong. This should be the phrase encounter. This isn't an action table. This is an encounter table. Okay. All right. So we've got our title. We have our dashes. Up here we have options. I want two boxes, one for easy and one for hard. So we're going to be like class equals ng hard, and actually let's make this more generic. Ng option, and then apparently Hellstorm Morris Gaming is pushing me a update. That's really annoying. Thank you for doing that, Google. That's fucking terrible. Desktop alerts are literally the fucking devil. And then inside each one of these guys, we're going to have a title here and then a box with options in it. All right, so let's go ahead and put the title box in because we know what those are going to be. Div. Let's see, this is going to be ng option tit. I don't want somebody to be like, why are you naming your classes tits and butts? Like, because it's short for words. All right, so we've got the title. And then we have, let's see, div class equals ng select box. And then inside of that, we're going to have a bunch of selects. Okay. Ooh, we could get even more customizing with this if we wanted. Let's do that. That'll be fun. Okay, so back up and punt. All right, so we're gonna have a box here for easy and a box here for hard. We're also, where the fuck is the eraser? I fucking hate you, Paint. There it is. Really? That's tiny. Give me the biggest one. That's the biggest one you got? Man. Miss or Mrs. Eraser must be really disappointed in you. Alright. Let's see what we got. Alright, so I'm going to erase this piece of text here because we're going to put another option up above this. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to have another one of these boxes that runs the whole width, right? And it's going to be enemy type. So that way, if you are fighting Space Marines or whatever, you can check Space Marines here, or you could check Tyranids, or you could check Death Guard, right? And then these boxes for easy and hard enemies are going to populate. That's the plan. Let's go. Big money. Alright. Chat seems borked. I apologize. I got some people, but it's not working. So thanks for that multi-stream chat. Okay, so that's the plan. So we need another box here at the top. We're going to make this, where are we? NG options, NG option, right? And we're going to do this. We're going to go boom like that. And then we're going to do another one because we're actually going to have 3 of these boxes. And we're going to call this guy NG option full because he's going to be a full width guy that runs along the top like that. Okay. Okay, cool. Alright, we saved that. Let's go look at what happened. Alright, we got some stuff that showed up. That's what we want. Okay. Now, let's get it styled a little bit, and then we will go from there. Okay, so in this top option, we're going to have a select box. Select. Do we want select? Is that right? I'm just thinking about how I want this to work. So, in theory, you shouldn't be able to select Space Marines and Tyranids. You should only be able to select one. So we'll do it as a select then. So this will be select, and it's going to have some kind of class. I'm going to have an ending tag because everything needs a start and an end, and then we're going to have an option inside that, like that. And then inside of that, we're going to say Death Guard. The Death Guard. Ooh, let me infect you, Daddy. All right, Death Guard. There we go. Boom. All right, that's all we're gonna have for now, because that's the only one I'm gonna put rules in for right now, because that's what we're gonna be fighting in my campaign. And as I make more rules, I will add them to it. All right. So let's get a little bit of styling done. Select box, select box, select box, select box. Okay. NG option. Just trying to remember what I did. Okay. NG option, pull an NG option. Let's sort those guys out. Going to go over to our CSS page just like before, and we're going to add those classes, and then this one was NG option, just like that. Okay, this guy's going to be width equals 50%. This guy's going to be width equals 100%, like that. And then we have MG options, like this. And this guy here, we're going to invoke flex grid like we did everywhere else on the site, and we're going to say display flex, and we're going to say justify content, and we're going to check that because make sure it's not screen freaking out. It's not. Center, align items, center, and flexed, wrap. All right. Boom. Okay. Cool. So if we put some, let's see, easy is the incorrect term. Let's make this normal enemies, and we'll make this guy hard's the wrong term, so we'll use the term challenging. Okay, just like that. Oh my god, what's wrong with you? What? Go the fuck away, I'm busy. Okay. So, and this is going to be select enemy type, like, okay. Oh, do I want to divide the enemies up like that, or do I actually want it to be truly random? For right now, let's make it truly random. Let's actually get rid of that, and we're going to have just one thing. Alright, and this is just going to say select enemies. Select enemies, like that. Okay. That should be enough for us to start populating this sucker. This guy here, he's going to get an ID. He's going to get enemy select as an ID, just like that. This button here is going to get an ID. It's going to be gen encounter, or NG gen encounter. G gen encounter. Let's back that up. Trying to think of the best way. Yeah, we'll do that. So encounter generator NG for Necrograve. Okay. This is going to be enemy select NG. There we go. Alright, I like that the best. Alright, so these have IDs now, which is good. So we can get them to do stuff. We also want this to have an ID. It's going to be ID encounter act Necrograve. Okay, just like that. Alright, so we have an ID on this element here because we're going to replace these ... dots with whatever the encounter is. We have an ID on this button because we want something to happen when you click on the button. We have an ID up here on this select box because we want to fill this in with enemy types when you make a selection here on this select, right? So let's say option value equals Death Guard, like that. All right. Okay. Cool. We'll save it and we'll check our page again. There we go. Select enemies, select enemy type. Let's check it out. That's the wrong button. That's the right button right there. So NG option and then NG option full. We're going to get rid of NG option. We're just going to make them all full like that. You know, which really... And then I can get rid of flex wrap like this. And they should float next to each other. Yeah, that should work good. I shouldn't have so many enemies that they're going to be a problem in here. Alright, so let's get writing the actual JavaScript for this mofo. Okay, here's a little bit of jQuery. Okay, so okay, cool. Okay, so document ready function, change tag. That's the random function. All right, so we're going to do a new jQuery function. That's the wrong button. That's also the wrong button. That's the right button. And we're going to say, God damn it, I am not used to typing at this desk. This is my hobby desk. This is not a work desk. All right, anytime you interact with the element and counter gen ng, which is what our button is, on click, when you click on the button, you're going to execute this function right here. Okay? That's what you're going to do. Now we're going to have a universal variable. Let's see. Variable ng enemies equals empty array. Variable ng enemies equals empty. Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. All right. On click function, we do something. Cool. Okay. So every time we click, it's going to do something. We're going to just drop this guy in there for now, just so we can see it work. Boop, 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 boop. There's a syntax error in 172. Okay. Variable ng enemies. Oh, it's that. All right, cool. All right, cool. So, boop 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 boop. We can see that console log going. So the button click is working. We verified that. That's cool. What we're going to do now is we're going to replace. We're going to replace this guy with something, right? So let's see that work. We're just going through in steps. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to call this element. We're going to say, give me this mama jama right there. And we're going to replace whatever the hell is in there with the phrase boop for right now. And we're going to test that to make sure that's working. Just walking through. There we go. That works. Makes boop. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace this with a thing called ng inc count. Now we need to define that. Var ng and count equals blank string, empty string, sorry, like that. Okay, so this variable is now defined, and when we click on it, it's going to replace it with this here. Okay, so we can see that happen. It gets replaced with nothing. All right, now we need to define that variable. So let's make ourselves a big fucking array. Okay, we're just going to call this encounters, and we're going to make it a 20 item array. Okay, so I'm going to write this out in a dumb way, just so my brain can make sure I get all the numbers right. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just making this an array filled with one item of every number, right? This is a D20 table, so we want to have 20 options. Okay, so 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so the encounter tables in the Quarantine 37 book, they're actually D10 tables, but they're written to be D20 tables because Stargrave works off a D20 system. So they don't want you to have a D10, but really there's only 10 options on a 20 table. However, since we're doing this digitally, we can give you 20 options, just flat out. Like, no bad there at all. We could do 100 options. We could do 1,000 options, really. But we're going to stick with the 20. I think that's way more than enough. All right, so variable encounter 1 through 20 right there. Checking chat and stuff. Okay, we don't need that anymore. We don't need whatever the fuck that is. All right, variable encounter 1 through 20. Now our friend up here, the random math function, we're going to use this same thing again, right? Because this is going to give us a value to call against this array. So variable maths, but we're going to change this 10 to a 20. Right. Do we even need ng encounter? No, we don't. We can get rid of that. We don't even need that. We can just say, let's just change this to ng encounter, like that. All right, and then we can just say, give me whatever position maths is. Okay, just going to give me a random position now. So every time I click this button now, it should randomly replace itself with a number. 5, 6, 15, 18, 19, blah, 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 blah. Every time I do it, it's going to give me a random number. You can see them all going. They're still going so quick. All right, cool. So there is our random dice roll. Everything has an equal chance out of that total value based off the JavaScript random function. Now, over something like 100,000 clicks or a million clicks or something, the JavaScript random function isn't actually truly random, but we're not calibrating space lasers or any bullshit here. Okay, we're making a table. It's good enough. All right, so we've got that working. So let's fill this in with some data. Let's put some actual wargaming in this and have some fun with it. All right, so this is a 20 option set. Let's put some fun options in. We're probably not going to fill them all in, but we'll put some fun ones in. All right, What happens on 20? Let's see. What could happen on 20? All crew members gain +1 fight and +1 shoot for this turn. So one of the problems with the encounter tables in the book, in the Quarantine 37 book, is that they're pretty much entirely negative. There are no positives in it. And when you're rolling against something that's entirely negative, it actually produces like a punishment feedback loop. And I want to avoid that. I want to make sure that you have an option to get something good. So 15 through 20 are going to be good things. 5 through 1 are going to be terrible things. And then the 10 options in between, those are going to be just stuff that happens. All right, so we're going to try to block those out. Let's fill in 15. Let's say all crew members regenerate. Do they call it life or do they call it health points? Let's check. Health. They call it health. Alright. So all crew members regenerate +3 health. Ooh, let's come up with silly names for these. Nah, we won't. Alright, so all crew members restore +3 health. Alright, now down here in the terrible options, what can be a terrible thing that happens? Well, we can do this. We could do this same thing here, but for the enemies. We could do that. Let me just say all hostiles. And then we can do the same thing here for number 5. Just everybody heals. Alright, all hostiles, like that. Okay, let's see. Number 10, what are you going to be? Place a piece of data loot. The center of the board. Okay. And then number 9 will be... Number 9 is going to be place a piece of physical loot. Okay. So then we've got these options here and these options here. Or no, I guess it should be 10 and 11 is what it really should be. Because then they're actually mirrored. There we go. Yeah, so then the options are mirrored. That's what I'm trying to go for, because it'll in my brain help me fill these in. So in my brain, these can be hard enemies, these can be easy enemies, kind of thing. Something like that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Okay, I see what I did wrong. 16. No, I'm sorry, 15. And then, there we go. Alright, now she's mirrored. Now she's mirrored. Okay. Alright, and then these are going to be positives for the enemy, and these are going to be positives for our guys. Okay, so let's put in one of the enemy ones. Let me check the encounter table in the book. Let's see what we got. Boop boo, boo doo boo doo boo doo. Check in encounter and table to get some ideas. let's see, place. All right, so we have okay. All right. So, this is going to be place 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do one of these guys here. So we're going to call a JavaScript variable in the middle of this string. And this might actually get angry at us. So we're going to test this out. It might not like this inside this, but we're going to test it out and see if it works. We're going to call this variable boop. I know, let's call this variable easy n. And then we'll say randomly on the board edge. Boom. Boom. Alright, this should work perfectly fine, but we're going to double check it just to be sure. Okay, so on click, let's do variable oh no, I'm not actually going to divide it by easy and hard enemies, am I? Not to the user, but on the back end I am. That makes more sense. I don't want people to get super pinged by anything nasty. Nah, we'll just use the enemy encounter. That'll give us more variation. Place 1. Let's see, ng enemy, like that. Sorry, I really don't prep for these things at all. I just am doing this entirely off my brain. So ng enemy, right? And this is going to call, this is going to call against ng enemies. And it's going to give me a random option. Okay? So we're gonna have one of these guys. Okay. This is gonna be maths enemy, like that. Right. This is going to be maths encounter. Just like that. Okay? However, we don't know if this is going to... We don't know what the size of that is. So we're going to do variable ng n length. Ng n len equals the length of this dot length plus 1. All right, and then that's going to go in there. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to, this length here is going to, actually don't know if this is a function or not. We'll see if it yells at us in a minute. It's going to check how many items are in this. Do we actually need the +1? No, we don't. We don't need the +1. It's going to check how many items are in this array here. And it's going to return us a number, right? And then we're going to use that number as the ceiling in our math random function. So that way, if there's 6 guys in here, it's going to give me a 6, and this is going to get replaced with 6. So then this maths random here has a number to pull randomly out of the enemy options. Okay, so essentially we're building multiple random pools and then just pulling out of all of them. Which, as many points of this like random as we can create, is going to create way more variance in the encounter table. So it should make it so that encounters are way less likely to be the same. Alright, so let's see. Enemy encounters, floor enemies. Alright, sweet. Okay, there we go. I'm going to see if it breaks. Alright, okay. $13.4. Cool. All right. Okay. So now we are here again, right? So let's do this. This is going to just be place 2, right? It's going to be place 2. This is going to be place 1. Randomly on an objective, right? Like that. Okay. Cool, so it should give us more options now. Let's see. We're going to make this all hostiles gain apparently I'm just a small town girl struggling in a small town world on a midnight train going anywhere. I don't know if you guys can actually hear that. There's just someone outside my window. Train going anywhere. There's just someone outside my window playing songs. Hey boy, born and raised in South Detroit. Yeah, okay. All hostiles gain. Let's see. What do we want them to have? +1 damage is rough. That's a pretty big bonus. However, having an extra action is also pretty rough. So if we give an extra action to everybody, that's really rough. So let's say randomly select one hostile and give them +1 action. Alright, that's pretty cool. That's just a nice bonus that can randomly happen. Or that's a bad bonus that can randomly happen, but we'll do the opposite down here. +1 crewmate. Okay. Alright, so then we've got, what do we have? We've got 2, 4, like that. Okay. Alright, so we can just fill those options in. Let's get back to the actual coding part, besides just trying to come up with stuff. Unexpected token line 189. 189. Ow. Boop, 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 boop. Place one, undefined. Place one, undefined. Alright. NG enemy. Why are you undefined? Okay. Then NG enemies. Okay. Saying undefined. Let's check it. It's debug time. Born and raised in South Detroit. Midnight train going. Alright. Boom, 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 boom. Alright. Let's see. 1 at 179, 1 at 181. Okay, 1 at 179 right there, so our length is returning correctly. Our math random is going to return correctly. And then 183 is returning... It's returning undefined. Alright, so NG enemies. Huh? Oh, wrong thing. Okay, there's some fault with, because this is returning a 1, but this is the 0 position in the array. Have I been forgetting to -1 out for these arrays? Let's check. Yeah, I guess so. Alright, show me 20 is what I want to say. That's 1, so that's good. +1 fight, +1 shoot, that's 20, right? Okay, yeah, I guess I was just forgetting to -1 to convert the number into the array key. Which is fine. Alright, we found an error in the whole site and we fixed it everywhere. Go team. Alright, sweet. So, that would have never come up if we had had an array with more than one option in it. Okay, so... for now, we're going to drop that out of there because that will remind us that we need to have that as an error. So we need to fill in these options. Caught a midnight train heading anywhere. Yeah, pretty much. Sitting by the window sometimes, man. You hear some stuff. I also wonder sometimes how people that drive around aren't deaf. But it's neither here nor there. Okay. Where the fuck were we? I don't remember. Okay, so we have our random function here. It's randomly placing these guys, which is what we want, right? I need to fill this in with some more details. I'll come up with some fun stuff. Right now it's just some, you know, hey, extra loot tokens, hey, extra enemies, and then there's some really bad and really good options. Alright, so we got those. Now we need alright, so we have to make sure that this function doesn't trigger if NG enemies is empty, because it won't make sense if it does. So if NG enemy length equals 0, this is going to be, for now we're just going to make it a console log, but we're going to have an error display for that, and otherwise it's going to do this. It's going to do whatever is in this function here. Alright, so math floor, math random, blah 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 blah. So if we don't have any enemies selected, this is going to handle our errors in that case, right? For right now it's just going to do console log. We're not going to alert the user yet. We'll get there. But for now, this is what it's going to do. Okay? Cool. Alright. So now we need to get some enemies in that sucker. Alright. So we're going to do this as gen enemies. Gen enemies. Okay, and that's going to trigger on launch. Okay, and we're going to make this our own function. Function gen enemies. There we go. And inside gen enemies, we're going to have a couple of arrays of stuff. So variable death guard equals this one of these is going to be Poxwalker. One of these is going to be Plague Bearer. Beast of Nurgle. Plague Marine. We're also going to have a Plague Marine melee specialist, and then a Plague Marine heavy gunner, and a Plague Marine flamethrower. Okay, cool. So we have an array filled with stuff with Death Guard. Since Death Guard is the only option right now, I'm not going to... What I would do is I would check against the selected option in this select here. And, well, fuck it, we can do it. Alright. Let's see what this option is passing. That genuinely scared me. Jesus. Death Guard. Like that. Okay. Right. Now we need to have, let's see, select D equals end cell. Okay. We're going to trigger generate enemies. Are we going to trigger generate enemies? Let's not trigger generate enemies on load. Let's make people select it. So we'll go ahead and we'll add another option that's like non-selected. Like that. Okay. Or do we want to auto-generate one? Yeah, let's auto-generate one. Let's have there always be an option. That way we won't have to worry about the layout breaking. Okay, so where are we? Console log, we want to put alright, come on. Let's walk back here. Alright, gen enemies. And this guy right here. What is this? It's like well, first off, let's take a step back. Okay. Okay. So every time this changes, we're going to trigger gen enemies. Let's see. One. Sorry, I'm figuring out what the functionality I want is, and I'm figuring out how to code it sort of as we go. So I apologize if I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm just trying to figure it all out sort of from scratch. Like I haven't put any like pre-thought into this. It's actually been a really tough week stress-wise, so I haven't put any pre-thought into this at all. So it's all like I'm letting it flow from the cuff. Okay, so what this is going to do is anytime you change this select, it's going to trigger gen enemies, right? Gen enemies is my function up here that's going to contain all of the potential options. No, wait, that isn't right. Shit. This needs to trigger a function called select enemies, because gen enemies is going to, that's going to generate all the options inside the boxes. No, it needs to trigger gen enemies. It does. Yeah. Shit. Okay. So page loads, I trigger gen enemies. Gen enemies has my options inside of it. I then dump those options into select enemy cell ng. Those get injected into there. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Since we only have Death Guard right now, just to get this out of my head, I'm going to do this. But it's not the correct way to do this. Then we're going to have... So in React, the binding looks like that. What the fuck does the each to the Google machine? Do not remember what the binding looks like for this. Okay, each function index. Can I call it each function index item? Yeah, each function I right there. Okay. Okay. So each function item like that, and then inside that is the bound function. Cool. All right, so that should loop through our Death Guard array here. And what we're going to do is we're going to append with HTML or with jQuery here, we're going to append the values from that into the selects. So how do we want that element to look? So I think it should be input type checkbox like this, and then I need a label for it. Value sorry, I'm not talking as much as my brain tries to figure out what I'm actually doing. Yeah, because I'm trying to think about. So I have an input. Now I need a label. This is going to need an ID. The checkbox is going to need an ID, so I can tie the label to the ID. ID equals, and it's going to be big quote, little quote, plus plus, big quote, little quote, big quote, and then it's going to be item again. And this should pass a string. Then it's going to be label for equals big quote, little quote, question, item, da, ba, 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 like that. Like that. And then it's going to be this, that, this, like that. And another one of these. And that should be it. Okay, so what is this doing? This is creating a checkbox input. It's going to need a class. So let's assign it a class. Class equals ng and cell. I don't think I've used that one yet. It's saying it's type checkbox. It is saying the value is going to be whatever the value from the array is. And it's giving it an ID, which is the same as the value. And then it is assigning it a label, which connects back to the select element. And then it is saying it is that item. That's what that should do. Let's see if it works. All right, unexpected identifier 166. Okay, you can work with that. Should be a missing period. 167 unexpected token. Where's the unexpected token? Right here. Okay, let's go back to that function. Okay. that should be right. Let's double check. Function item. Okay. Missing that, so maybe that's the problem. Let's check. 167, unexpected token. Why are you giving me an unexpected token there? You shouldn't be doing that. The syntax wrong for an array? Here's a different syntax. Let's try that. Yeah, this looks right. This is the other one is the syntax for each HTML element you hand it, but this is what you actually want to do right here. I looked up the wrong thing and just copied it without actually thinking about it. Alright, so then we're going to be like key and then item. Alright, so we'll get rid of that. We don't need it anymore, and she should work. Alright, we're still getting unexpected token. That's wonderful. Why? So that's right. That's should be right. That should be right. Each function index value. Yay, troubleshooting. Alright, this should be right. What the fuck is wrong with this? Variable death guard. Nope, still a problem. Okay. Okay. Variable death guard. Blah 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 blah. Plague marine flamethrower. Okay, that's all right. Each death guard. That guy. Function. Index value. What's wrong with it? What am I missing syntax-wise? I'm missing something. Copy and paste the tutorial from the API and see what I'm missing. Okay. So, let's see. Each, my array, their array, function, index value. That shouldn't make a difference, but we'll change it. And then they have a console log. Yeah, still error 167. Okay. Do me a favor. Let's try this. Okay, so that's nice. Alright, so the error is actually somewhere down in here. It's not actually in this function. So that's good to know. Remove that to test it. So now we just walk through this to find where the error is. Okay. Oh, it's right fucking there. God, I swear, man. Sometimes I am blind. Like, it's terrible. Alright, there's the error right there. Boom. There it goes. Okay. Cool beans. Cool beans. Ugh. Alright. Death Guard. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back and let's take a look at these functions again real quick and just make sure they're making sense. So select enemy type, select enemies. Okay, so this is AN cell. Okay, so this is the enemy type select. So when you click on this, it's going to generate enemies the same way it is from loading. Okay, so that means that I'm going to need a universal. Do I need a universal function? Nah, we'll stay away from that for now. We'll just keep it as Death Guard for now. But what we're normally going to do is actually... fuck it. Let's do it. Okay. So, when this generates, it's going to get the value... let's look it up. jQuery, value of select. We want something that's not val. Okay. So this is going to actually... Oh, hold on. Alright, so we're making another variable here, and we're going to pass this. Do we want to pass it down from here? No, we don't. We actually just want to use it in here. That's what we want to do. Like that, and we want it to be like that. And this is called en cell, like that. And then this is going to be down here. And what this is going to do is that every time Genomese triggers, it's going to check what is in the value of that select, and it's going to put that value into this. The option up here should declare Death Guard, if I remember right, spelled the same way. Yep. So it should pull the Death Guard array. So we'll go ahead and we'll refresh that, and we'll get a big freaking error. Something about cannot use in and search for length of Death Guard. Okay. So console.log, and we're going to check select val right here. We're going to see what that returns, because that's clearly causing the error. Okay. Oh, it's causing... Alright, error is Death Guard spelled like that. That's what we want. Okay. Why is there only one match of the word Death Guard like that? That's not good. No, there's value, Death Guard, Death Guard, Death Guard, Death Guard, Death Guard. Okay. Is it because it's returning as a string? No, it should be fine. It should work perfectly fine here. Because if I just change this to the word Death Guard, it works again. Right? Yeah, see, it works again perfectly fine. And then if I had other options, I could pick them and they could show up. Right? And then, okay. Am I using this maybe somewhere else? Because this seems like a phrase I'd use more than one place. Okay. So if I change that to select val, it returned the word Death Guard. Ay. Alright, it doesn't like that it's returning the value as a string. It has something to do with how this is returning. Alright, so we're just going to keep it as Death Guard for now. I can debug that later. Let's at least get the core functionality in here, right? Because technically... Alright, so that works as she is. And right now we have to fix this bug, and then she'll totally work. Alright, because I think I've already been... Hello! Oh, pretty good. I'm just trying to put things in. With the new streaming setup, it's actually really hard to see the computer. So I'm like leaned all the way in to see. It's kind of hurting my back. To be honest. Alright, so we're going to get this bug fixed, and then I think I'm going to call it, because I need some fucking lunch. So we're going to get this bug here fixed. Okay, so let's fix that guy. This guy I have to fix. I'll make myself a note of that. Okay. Genemies works. Okay, so this is pulling correctly from NG enemies, right? That's pulling correctly from NG enemies. There's just nothing. There's just nothing right now. I should actually, let me refresh it. Okay. Alright, see. So we fixed our error handling here. I had only a single quote. I needed at least a double quote. I could do a triple quote here, but I'm not going to. So we need a way to get whatever option I select from here. Right, whatever one of these I select, we need a way to get those options into this element right here. Okay, so Let's see. What do we call this? Input class. There we go. Like that. And we will go ahead and we will say jQuery. Anytime this class changes. Oh no, let's bind it as on change. On change. Right, so anytime you click, yes, you click or unclick the box, this is going to trigger. Function. We can bind it like that. Okay. So this is going to trigger anytime you click on that box now. And what we want to do is we want to get, we want to pass this event. And what we're going to do, we'll call this selection equals event target val is what I think. That's what I think the binding is, if I remember right off the top of my head. So we're going to use that for now and see if it works. And then we're going to open up our array here, ng enemies, and we're going to push selection into it. Okay, and then we're going, just so we can see it working, for now we're going to console log ng enemies. Okay. Okay. Did I refresh it? Yeah, I did. Okay, so if I select Poxwalker and Plague Bearer, and now I tell it to click, I've got error at 197. Okay, let's figure it out. Right. nglen ng enemies. Okay. So ng, the push is not working. That's fine. So let's console log this. Actually, none of this is triggering. I don't think this is triggering at all. So let's check these guys. ng and cell right there, right? Let's put a console log in there so we can see something happening. On change function event. All right, this isn't triggering. Why is this not triggering? Yeah, see, I should be getting it. I should be getting, it should be triggering here. Oop, wrong thing. Yeah, because like this one up here, this one works. I think. Interesting. Okay. so it's not, the change isn't triggering. Why not? Why are you not triggering, jQuery? No, these are all incorrect. Well, they're correct for what they're doing, but it's not what I want to do. Oh, maybe I need to wrap it inside of document ready because it's a change function, maybe? So it needs to have that listener. Ah, fuck it, we can try it. Why not? We'll give that a last ditch try. Yep, that's what it was. Alright, so the change function couldn't trigger because the document had not been readied yet. So that means that this guy up here isn't working either. So that's what that means. Oh shit, no, screwed that up. There we go. All right, cool. So that's now going to add whatever we want to this array, and then when this generates, oh, it's still returning undefined. Where are you returning undefined? Don't return undefined. Don't do that to me. Let's see. ng enemy is ng enemy minus maths enemy. Right. Like that. Boom, boom, boom. Undefined. What are you undefined? Don't be undefined. Must be an error with maths enemy here, I guess. So we'll check maths enemy and then we'll check ng enemies. Because there's some error somewhere. But we know ng enemies works because the length is working there. We'll just double check it just to be sure. Let's see. Alright, so Poxwalker, whatever else, I don't care. Okay. The len is 0 there. Undefined, undefined, undefined. What? Okay. So the problem is actually not down here. This works fine. The problem is actually higher up. We can figure that out. The problem's actually up here somewhere with it going into the array. It's inserting undefined. Which means event target val here is probably failing. So let's check that. Yeah. That's what's happening. Can you just console log event for me? I know this is gonna break the whole fucking thing. I know, because I probably have the wrong verbiage for it. It's probably what I have. Yeah. So event target. It's really hard to see from where I'm sitting. Event target. Oh, it's event target value, not val. Okay, that's why. There we go. Okay. So, Poxwalker, Plague Marine, whatever. Give me one that works, please. Place one Plague Marine. There we go. Alright. So, it's still ugly as sin, but that's all of our core functionality in. Yeah, that's all the core functionality in. So you can come here and you can select an enemy type, and then that's going to render what kind of enemies are in the list. And then you can select an option for an encounter, and then it's going to generate your info there. So that's all the core functionality in. Phew. Now I need to style this sucker, but I need some food because I'm fucking hungry. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it there. And I will finish this up so we can actually use it tomorrow in tomorrow's game of Stargrave. Because that'll be awesome. So tomorrow I'll be playing Stargrave. I'll be taking out my first mate and the rest of the crew. So I got to finish getting their stats together. But we'll be taking them out. We'll be using our random encounter table here, giving it a test, see how it works. They'll be fighting some Death Guard and probably Plague Bearers or something like that. Maybe something crazy like a Beast of Nurgle. But they'll be fighting just some sort of generic enemies so I can get the hang of the rules again. And yeah, it should be good. And then in the game after that, we'll go with a full crew. And the full crew will be the captain, the first mate, and all 8 guys. So it will be pretty damn sweet. We'll be using this encounter table. And tomorrow, based on how it works, will help me determine if I need to make any changes to it. I'm going to style it and finish filling in all the options and stuff before tomorrow's game. Just so it looks a little nicer when we use it. And get it integrated into the website better and stuff. But that's what I got. I'm going to go get some food, and then I'm going to get my 3D printer set up. Yeah, it got here. I'm going to get it all set up. It's sitting right here. So, it's pretty awesome. Hopefully this was interesting. Just to see how a random function with options injected into it like this works. Man, it really wants to give me Plague Marines. It doesn't not want to give me any Poxwalkers. It's giving me different kinds of Plague Marines, though. Oh, there's Poxwalker. Yeah. So I'll finish filling in those options, and yeah, it should be pretty sweet. And then as I play more campaigns and stuff, I'll expand this, and it will be pretty damn rad. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it there. Thank you guys for watching. I'm getting food and then setting up my 3D printer. I hope you have a good one, and